Why did I come up with that title? Of course, I don't really mean to die, but I want to tell you why I think you need to differentiate yourself during your time at the Waikato Management School. Now, before I get there, you're probably asking yourself, what's he got a dog on his lap for, you know? Well, I thought I'd better put my words into action and do something different to differentiate myself. So let me introduce you to Oscar. Now, Oscar, whose full name is, I need my glasses here, Oscar Finnegal O'Flaherty Wills Wilde. Now, for those of you who read a little, he's named after Oscar Wilde. I wanted to differentiate myself too by advertising my favorite country, and that is China. I love China, and I do. I've just come back from 2 months of wandering in China. Now, I want to talk a little bit of economics. My first degree was economics, but that's a long time ago. Now, it's about supply and demand. I want you to just do a little bit of calculation. There are about 400 students coming out of the School of Management every year. But remember, we're only one of 7 or 8 business management schools. And some of those are bigger than us. So if you do the maths, that must bring you up to 3,500. Remember, however, that there are other good institutions like Wintec, Unitec, or Polytechnic in Otago. There's another 7 or 8 institutions. So maybe there are somewhere near 7,000 students out there graduating business or commerce or something similar. Now that's a lot of students. Now let me ask you, do you think there are 7,000 jobs? I don't think there are. So there's a large supply of people looking for few jobs. Maybe for each job you might find 100 students, maybe 150 students going for the same job. The question then is, why should they pick me to come to that final interview? During your time in your study at Waikato or elsewhere, how are you going to differentiate yourself? So I say, that's interesting. Let's talk to her at the interview. What's the first step when you're looking for that elusive job? Well, they ask you for a CV, letter of application. So you make a nice CV. You're cleverer than me. You know the technology. You've got interactive CV. You've tinted it. It looks nice. It sounds nice. But then, of course, you're with people who do exactly the same thing. So the CVs tend to look very different. But remember, that's the first time they look at you. Now, I'm not here to tell you how to make a nice, pretty CV. Like, it has, let's make it green, so that's sustainable. That's hardly an innovative thought, is it? What goes into CVs? Well, you want to show them how good you are, so you put in your grades, and you've got your A pluses and your Bs, but then everybody's got the same. You tell them that you're interested in dance drama, you like to abseil, you're into cooking. Okay, so CVs get filled up with the same stuff. Recently, I put up one of my students for an interview at a large organization. I asked the student to flick his CV the night before he was to meet the employer. I rang the employer and said, well, what do you think? And he said, the CV reads like a blank wall. How are you going to stand out? How are you going to differentiate yourself in your CV? And I'm sorry, we know the game, we know that you're innovative, we know you can use the technology, and we know you like cooking. We're looking for something more than that. I think here's the issue for you. You have to get across to me and the employer that you can add value to my organization. You have to demonstrate to me in that CV. You've got to stop me in my tracks. So I say, to my colleague, where are you going to do the interview? Hey, listen to this. This guy is interesting. This woman's interesting. They've done something that's interesting and added value to themselves, and they could add value to our company. Now, one way to do that, and one way I'm passionate about in the School of Management, is through internships. I set up a management internship paper. It's an unusual paper. You can't enroll in it. You can enroll in every other paper. No, you can apply to join. And if you've got the sort of attributes, characteristics, and can demonstrate to me in a CV, in a letter of application, that you are the sort of person that can add value to this program and to yourself and to a company, I want you on board. So I have managed to find students, outstanding students, academically outstanding, yes, yes, yes. What does that show to me? It shows me that you are persistent, can apply yourself. But remember, this person's B plus might be somebody's A minus, or this person's A might be another course's B minus. So we have to be a bit careful about those grades. What do they actually say? For me it says, if you've got a consistent set of grades in there, you can apply yourself, you've got the smarts. But I want something else. I want the X factor. I want you to be able to say to me that in fact you have done something, been somewhere, involved in something that makes you stand out. Your experience is what interests me. Look, I'm seeing hundreds and hundreds of students. They've all got CVs, they've all got decent grades. If they don't have decent grades, they've not got to this interview anyway. But I want to see someone who's done something, been somewhere, had some experience that makes them stand out and stops me in my tracks. Now, and that's what I'm looking for. I think an internship gives the opportunity to apply your theoretical knowledge, but show to an organization and learn yourself that you can fit into an organization. You see, what managers want, they don't just want bright people. They want people around them that they feel comfortable with. They can communicate. They can fit in. They'll come along and have coffee. They'll come to the Barbies. They are well-rounded students. Look, they're not just interested in your grades. It might be the thing that they're least interested in. You're smart. You're persistent. You can apply yourself. I say you're quick on your feet. And those are the sort of people that organizations really value. My internships find those. I'll finish by saying what you should be thinking about is how can I get involved in something like an internship that adds value to me, so that when I get to that interview, you should be saying to them, you should want to talk to me. I know how to add value to your organization. And if you can do that, they'll snap them up. My interns are finding jobs in the organizations that they're in, that they do their internships in. This year, I'm going to put my interns overseas to give them international experience, and I think they'll find jobs overseas as well. And I think that international students who come to Waikato should also look for these experiences, because you know that it's going to be just as tough when you go back to your home.